Hey, this is Aditya from LightHaven. By popular demand, today we're going to be talking about grappling tactics from Pekiti Tirsia Kali. Let's just talk about the two broad forms of grappling within the FMA arts. The first is weapon-based grappling, where I am armed and my opponent is armed. And the second is empty hand-based grappling, where I am unarmed, my opponent may be armed or may not be armed, but I am unarmed. For the sake of keeping this slightly more focused, we're only going to be talking about unarmed grappling, where I am unarmed, my opponent may be armed or unarmed, but I am unarmed. So within unarmed grappling, we're talking about a very specific context. And we have 3 points to consider when we're talking about context in grappling for the FMA arts. The first is that I am assuming, always assuming, that my opponent is armed. He may or may not have deployed the weapon yet, but I'm assuming that at some point a weapon could be deployed and he is armed. The second is I need to finish this fight as quickly as I can. The longer that I stay in this fight, the more bad things can happen to me. Again, his weapon can be deployed, his friends can come and help me, somebody else can get involved. I need to finish this fight as quickly as I can. And the third is that my aim is not necessarily to imagine I'm in a John Wick movie and I'm beating up 6 people. My aim is to go home safely. So within this context is where the Filipino martial arts, grappling arts and grappling systems exist. Now in my experience, we have 3 types of people, 3 types of grapplers, let's say, who teach or who practice the Filipino martial arts or who talk about the Filipino martial arts. The first are people who are really big, and this is at least oftentimes when I have learned or been shown grappling within the FMA arts, it's been by somebody who's much bigger. And these people can do a bunch of things that are simply inaccessible to me. I can't grapple or control another person's body the way that they can just because the size difference is so extreme. So I have to rely a lot more on positioning, footwork, leverage, technique, and these principles that I'm going to talk about in just a little bit. The second type of person is someone that I think has maybe drunk too much of the FMA Kool-Aid, where they have very beautiful lock flows, very beautiful movements, but they don't really test those movements out against an actively resisting opponent very much. And so when you see it, whether it's in person or in a demonstration, it looks beautiful. But again, it may not be as effective as it looks in that demonstration. And the third is somebody who has a pretty wide variety of training when it comes to empty hands and grappling arts, right? They may have started in the FMA arts, they may have started in some other grappling arts, but they recognize the sort of weaknesses and strengths of each art. So maybe they supplement the FMA with some sort of sticky hands, chisao, or maybe like me, they supplement it with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or they supplement it with wrestling or something or the other. But FMA is not their only grappling art. They also dip into other pools and they use that knowledge to give them a well-rounded understanding of grappling and grappling arts and what it takes to fight bigger, smaller people with weapons, without weapons. Obviously, I would recommend being part of the third group, and it could be any kind of grappling art. The traditional martial arts are taking a really getting a really bad rep right now, but a lot of the old school traditional martial arts have their own grappling systems within it and their own approaches to grappling, and it really does help to look at the way other people do things, because it's going to help, it's going to show you that the problem you are facing is not your individual personal problem. It's something that everybody faces. It's just that how you solve it will have to be personalized to you, but getting different perspectives always helps. So the first principle I want to talk about is always trying to get outside of his shoulders. Because whether the weapon is deployed or whether the weapon is not deployed, I want to get to the outside of his shoulders so that I can either, if I want, I can run away, or I want to work towards being able to take his back, right? If I am in between his shoulders like this, there are a lot of things I can do, but it makes it a lot more complicated, especially if he does manage to deploy his weapon. So whether we're empty hands or whether we're with a weapon, I want to try to get outside of his shoulders, and then eventually, if I need to, be able to take the back. The second principle I want to talk about is that everything that I am doing, whether it's manipulating his hands, manipulating his neck, going to the elbows for arm drags, everything I am doing needs to be supported by some sort of strikes. Like if I'm just going to try and arm drag him here, it's not hard for Zarir to resist that, pull his hand back, frame against me, do a whole bunch of stuff. So from the beginning of the engagement, everything that I am doing has to be supported by some sort of strikes. I'm hitting him in the face, then going to the arm drag, then maybe turn please, turn. Then maybe as I enter, I'm looking for that uppercut as I'm looking to hyperextend that elbow. Then from here, maybe coming back with an elbow or destroying something or going down to the groin. Everything I'm doing is supported by a strike, because if it's not, especially for a smaller person, it's pretty hard for me to start getting to the outside or hyperextending a limb or breaking his posture, especially if he's a lot bigger. The third principle is, and this is extremely important, especially when it comes to working with against a weapon, is whichever is the weapon arm, I need to isolate that separate from his body. The closer his arm is to the body, the stronger he's going to be. The more I can separate that arm from the body, it's just, again, grappling 101, I'm looking to isolate that arm from his body. Now we're going to mix principles. If let's go, say I come into this position, a 2-on-1 position over here, but I'm within his shoulders, there are options that Zarir has. He can switch his hands, he can reach across, grab my head, pull me. So if I'm here, he reaches across, he grabs my shoulder or my face and just pulls me in here. Life becomes really hard for me, right? So if I do start from some sort of a 2-on-1 position, even here, even though I have isolated that arm, I do want to be looking to getting to the outside, because from here I have still isolated that arm, but I am on the outside. And even now, again, if he bends his arm, if he starts switching his hands, I can have options. I can look to take his back and do a whole bunch of things from here, which I may not have if I'm stuck like here, if he's hugging me over here and I'm stuck in between his shoulders. So I need to isolate that arm, but also do it while moving to the outside. So let's look at this through the lens of a drill, and I'm going to try and explain the process that we're going through here. Let's say Zarir is thrusting me low. Firstly, I have to not die, right? So I want some sort of a bisecting line, some sort of a frame, some sort of a jam between his knife and me. If I can, again, we train for this within Pekiti, as he's attacking, I'm looking to attack him myself. So it could be to his eyes, it could be to his nose, whatever. I'm trying to attack him. All I'm trying to do is get him to stop thinking about the knife coming into me, and instead of trying this sewing machine movement, I want him to be stunned for a second. Okay, so he thrusts, boom, that's number one. Now I'm going to go through a slightly longer process and then we'll shorten it. From here, I'm going to dive immediately on this 2-on-1 to get to the arm. I'm trying to isolate that arm, again separate from his body, and I'm doing that by putting my weight down. As you can see, Zarir's posture is breaking in the process. His posture breaking means that I have again more options. It's harder for him to fight. While I'm here, I can be looking to knee if I want, or I can go directly to the outside. I'm going to push that hand down, pull that arm across as I switch my legs, because if I just do it here, he's going to stab me, right? So as I switch my legs and immediately switch my 2-on-1. So now I'm here, okay? One thing I don't want my leg to be in front. It's easy for him to sweep me, do a bunch of stuff. I want to be behind. I'm still in control over here. From here, even though I have this isolated arm, I have a decent bar on this arm. I'm not saying that you might be able to break it, but it's a good amount of control. Let's say Zarir is really strong and he starts bending this arm in. Instead of trying to fight that, again I want to support, I want whatever my grappling I'm doing, I want it to be supported by strikes. So he's bending the arm, I let it go, and maybe I hit over there, and then from this hit maybe I again try and hyperextend that. As I hyperextend that, I'm hitting again. Worst case scenario, he bends, and maybe he switches sides. He switches there. Now, instead of me abandoning, and then going all the way to the other side again, remember what we spoke about in the beginning? I have his back. So turn, please. Turn. I have his back. So from here, again, instead of going all the way around, I'm going to still try and get some sort of tight waist control. When that knife comes, I'm still trying to jam, but now I'm trying to come around here with this nice lace. This is a decently strong position. It doesn't mean he doesn't have options, it doesn't mean he can't do things, but I have a lot of options here for myself as well. I can take his back, I can start doing takedowns. I can keep this tight over here while hitting him up there. If he again switches, I can even come back here to try and fight over here, all the while trying to knee him, trying to do takedowns, trying to hit, go up to the head, come back. Because I have taken his back, I have options. So again, he's hitting me, I am not dying. That's number one, right? Whether you go here, whether you go here, whether you go some sort of thing like that, don't die. As I'm doing this, I'm hitting him. Now from here, instead of going inside, I can also, hi Luna, go directly outside. And from here, go into that same 2-on-1, hit while I hyperextend. I can hit down low as well, look to hit. If he doesn't do anything, I can just work a takedown from there, or I can put weight down there. If he starts to resist, again, instead of abandoning everything, I can just continue working towards the back. If he has a frame, let's say he has a frame across my body, the principles don't change. Maybe the direction changes, because if he has a frame, I can't go towards the knife arm, but I still have to not die, right? So I'm still jamming this, and now it's I pop, and I'm again going to take his back, right? This is some pretty standard stuff that you would find in most wrestling gyms or most jiu-jitsu gyms. I'm trying to not die. This, pop that off, but I can't stay here. I have to fill the space that's between his chest and my chest. I'm diving in there. I'm looking to control, getting behind him. Let's say where he doesn't have his weapon deployed yet, and we have entered into some sort of a grappling type situation. It could be this over-under position where I have an underhook and overhook. It could be collar ties, whatever it is. Even here, I am not looking to try throwing, whether it might be, I don't want to show him my back, because at any point he could, I'm again assuming that he has a weapon, right? I don't want to show him my back, and I also don't want to start changing levels to shoot for doubles or for single or something, because if I'm changing levels and he pulls the knife out, I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm in a lot of trouble. So I want, my main aim is, even from here, is to work towards his back, work towards some sort of body lock towards his back, and not stay in the middle. Because even if we're here and I have decent control, it's not that hard for him to be able to go to his weapon, take it out, and now I'm in a lot of trouble. So just to recap, I need to go to the outside, I need to isolate his arm while working towards his back, all the while striking as much as I can. And on the way, if I find breaks, so let's say I'm here, I've worked my way to the outside. From here, I have a slight barring opportunity. If I have this, boom, maybe I do snap into it, if I can. But that's supported a lot by the strike. Maybe he starts pulling his arm in, I use that to hit. And now as I straighten up again, I use that bang, I use the shock of me hitting him to maybe try and straighten the arm out again. However, what I'm not going to do is mindlessly chase wrist locks, because just resist, don't go down. It's hard. A strike would of course soften him up, maybe make it easier, but if something is not there, I'm not going to try and force a wrist lock. From here, whatever I can do, I'm going to work. So if it's that, two working to the outside, hey, I see a weapon, thank you very much, okay. But what I'm trying to get to the outside, and then from here I'm going to see my options. If I have the option for a break, I'm going to take the break. If I have an option to go up to the neck, maybe I go up to the neck. If I have an option to just get to the back and establish some sort of a body lock, I'm going to do that. I have to look at what my options are, but I'm getting to the outside towards taking his back. The last thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to go to the ground when my back is on the ground, right? Even if I do some sort of a takedown on Zarir, where I'm here, let's say, and I'm really working and taking him down, I don't want to join him on the ground. I want to stay above him so that I can control position, I can start hitting him from top. If somebody else comes to fight me, I can face them. I don't want to be in a position where both of our backs are on the mat, or on the ground, sorry, or my back is on the ground, because we're not fighting on, I mean, this is still tile floor, but we're not fighting on mats here. We're talking about fighting on the street, fighting. We don't know the terrain around us. I don't want to be on the bottom. I always want to stay on top. This is really important when we're talking about grappling within FMA. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like and share this video. If you have anything to add or any questions, leave that in the comments down below. Please just subscribe to the channel. All of these things really do help out the school and the channel a lot. A huge thank you to all of our patrons and everybody on our newly launched YouTube membership. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you'd like to know more about our membership on YouTube or our Patreon page, the link will be in the description down below. Lastly, thank you guys for watching. Thank you Zareer for all of your help, and see you in the next video.